What did you try? Okay, vegetables, great. Which one is this one? That's brilliant. I'm not going to have pizza now. We're done. Okay, right. Okay, as it's been a long time for these since we've had the last one of these Thursday night shurim. It's was it Sukkot? It was Sukkot at your father-in-law Sukkah, and he put out pagoda. That was nice. And speaking about pagoda, thank you very much, Simon, for sponsoring tonight. If you're watching this live, you've missed the pizza. You know?
It's not even in your beard anymore.
It's not even my beard anymore.
Get round quick.
Get round quick. Come on. Okay. You can bring people on camera. That's interesting. That's a new thing you can do. Hey, sorry. Okay. Right. We're going to talk tonight about learning how to make changes and about what this has to do with Pesach. So, to start with, I think we're going to start with what somebody said we were going to definitely discuss tonight. So we're going to definitely discuss it tonight. Actually, I'll tell you one funny story that happened to me this week before we start with that, with these phones. We're going to talk about phones also. I'm walking down the street. Did anybody here on Vodafone?
Yeah.
Yeah? Did you know that Vodafone had like from Sunday to Tuesday, they had a huge issue with the... so I'm not on Vodafone, I'm with you didn't know?
No, I was just saying it was boring because he was on Vodafone. Not that what you were saying.
All right. No, Vodafone is... I'm very happy with Vodafone, by the way. I've been very, very happy until now with Vodafone.
I'm very
happy. We're very happy. Gentlemen and ladies who are watching this Facebook post, we are very happy with Vodafone.
Except between Sunday and Tuesday.
Pardon?
Except between Sunday and Tuesday.
Except last Sunday to Tuesday. That's true. Right? Okay. No, but there was this Vodafone thing, and for some reason, like every second phone call, you got like a funny ring, and it wasn't working, and it was getting really, really annoying. And I've called Maxim to ask him something, or I called Maxim, mortgage brokers, whatever. So so I called, and I hear nothing. Stupid phone again, you know. So I hung up, and I called again. Hello? I hear nothing. It's driving me mental. Like, you know, not even a ringtone. And my phone says somebody's picked up the phone. I'm like, what's going on over here? So I pick up my phone, and I see my Bluetooth is actually connected. I'm like, my Bluetooth is connected. Who am I connected to? I'm checking my pockets. I mean, I sometimes walk around. I have a Bluetooth headset when I'm driving a lot. So I got this headset, and you can make phone calls while you're driving. Although I would say you can't really dial whilst you're driving, and you should be pulling over every time you dial again. And we all know that for security reasons, and for safety reasons, we all always pull over before we make a phone call. Always.
And take the key out of ignition as well.
Do you have to take the key out of the ignition? Is that the rule?
That's the rule.
Wow! I didn't realize you had to take the key out of the ignition. Yossi, you're missing the pizza. Yeah. Yossi Schwartz has just showed up, but he's missing the pizza anyway, right? So I'm looking at I know I didn't have my my Bluetooth headset on me. So why is the Bluetooth on? So you pull down on your phone and it shows you what it's connected to. So I swipe down on my phone and it says Bluetooth i10. I'm like, i10? Oh, i10. That's a car. It's a Hyundai, right? Funny thing is, I borrowed a car from Navcar about a month ago to drive down to London for Gideon Radovan's wedding. And I guess because Navcar is all around and they're all local, and your phone constantly picks up on these things. So as I was walking, my phone must have passed the Navcar that I had rented and connected. Yeah? So I thought it was strange that I wasn't getting a phone call, but imagine you're driving down the street, "Hail, mortgage broker, how can I help you?" coming out of your speakers. They're like, what was that? And then you hear it, and then it hangs up, and he hears, "Hail, Mary." The second time, it's like, stupid phone. Like, you know what? It was very...
You're driving Herbie. It's like, it's talking to you.
It was like talking to... I'm wondering, like, and Maxim said, Maxim loved that. He says, after call the girls, after tell them in the office, he was like, well excited about this, about the thing. Anyway, so... Maxim, we've gotten random cars to advertise his service, his mortgage service, and this year advertises Maxim mortgage service as well. If you need another mortgage, there's the man. Okay, right? If you need an accountant, by the way, or
we lend money as well.
You lend money also, but at very, very, very different rates, I think.
Developments.
Huh?
Anyway, doesn't matter.
Whatever. I don't even want to go there. Right. Okay. Right, but. That's just about the phone. But I think if we speak about phones, I think lots of people, it's a big part of our life. It really is a big part of our life. Whether you like it or not, and whether you think it should be or whether you think it shouldn't be, it's not? No? What do you work? What do you do as your job?
Now I'm just finishing uni.
Okay, so yeah,
And
and then,
then into work.
but you know what? But you're not doing the typing thing anymore.
No, I stopped that now.
You stop that now. Okay, fine. But you have to focus on your job
Well, for exam.
for the exam. I mean,
6
exam.
weeks ago.
Huh?
6 weeks ago.
Well, you got rid of you off your job 6 weeks ago.
No, in 6 weeks I'm finished. Yeah.
Oh, okay, 6 weeks to go. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So look, as much as we like it, we don't. My wife often says, like, why don't you get yourself a simple phone? I said, look, this is a, for want of a better word, or whether you like it or not, this is one of my most important tools in my job, right? Because I'm getting emails from the shul constantly, and I can respond to them. Ram, I have a quick look at this. Or this okay? Yeah, fine. Okay, they send it to me. I have a look at it. Open up the document, send in the changes that need changing or not, and send it straight back. So. So why can't you get a simple phone? If I get a simple phone, every time I wanted to check my email, I'd have to go to my office to check my emails. And it creates stress because, it's funny because we've almost, there's an anxiety that comes together with phones. I was listening to the radio this week and they were talking about phone, they were talking about the reactions. There was a lady on there, I think she was a doctor of psychology or something, was on the phone, she was on the radio, she was talking about the psychology almost of phones, and she says, you're worried you're going to miss something. And because you're worried you're going to miss something, you're constantly picking up the phone. How many of us do this, like a few times a day, a few times an hour actually, you just click the power button, oh stupid, it's the same messages as before, okay, and you just keep going, and you do that like every 5 minutes. Oh, I still didn't get a message, I'm not important. Yeah, but you have that nervous feeling like, oh no, I need to, and then you look and you're like, oh, I had a craving, I managed my craving. And she said that the brain, there's a hormone, a drug inside the brain called dopamine that it creates with this thing. You have a need, you fulfill the need, the brain gets this dopamine, and then you become almost dependent on it. You can't not check your phone. You can't look away. It's like, I need to check. Oh, thank God I've checked my phone. Yeah? There's that unbelievable need. So on the one hand, as we said, you want to get rid of it, it's going to be difficult. It is difficult. On the other hand, is it taking over your life? And if it is, so where do you make the changes that you need to make? So recently, as some of you might know, that I sent out a message. I don't know if everybody got my message. Didn't get my message, but I sent out this. You didn't get the message? You don't text me often enough. Oh, you know what happens probably nowadays? You'll never know what time davening is on Shabbos. Friday night. Now it's gonna be like, anyone, please.
Well, last Friday.
I've got to show you the conversation on Friday.
That's
We
exactly
had a whole
last
conversation
Friday.
about that.
Was that what happened? Yeah, what happened?
No one replied.
David Mintz getting involved, everyone's getting involved.
Well, what time they think it should be?
I don't know whether they know. Eventually got there at the end.
Eventually you got there. Well, look, you come on time, you come. It'll be very funny to read that conversation.
I'll show you afterwards.
We've had family. I've come off family. I've lost all these things. So I've come off the family conversation also. And my brother sent me screenshots of some things from the family conversation. I actually got a different app that does the same thing, but I'm not going to tell you about it. Yeah, it does exactly the same thing.
I know the app because you popped up on my app.
Did I pop on your app? Yeah. Okay. Very good. Joined. Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever. It doesn't matter about it. Nobody uses it. People don't even know it. It's called Telegram. Yeah, but it does the same thing. But you know what? I have 3 people that I Telegram with. It's my mother, my brother, my sister, and that's it. Nobody else sends me any messages on that. Nobody. People don't. And I spoke to 1 or 2 people. They told me they've never heard it. You ever heard of the app?
I'm downloading it now. So
I'm like, go for it. You can message me.
Facebook knows about it now.
No, Facebook knows about it now. It's not much of a secret, like
You told everyone.
I've told everyone. It's okay. Nobody's getting it. Nobody uses the thing, right? Nobody uses it.
I don't think it does calls.
Sure it does. It does calls, it does films, it does everything. Everything. Exactly the same as exactly the same as WhatsApp, except that nobody uses it. In Israel, by the way, my mother told me there are more Telegram users than WhatsApp users. It seems to be very. I mean, if you go onto your Google Play Store and it tells you how many. I think on the Apple one doesn't tell you how many have downloaded it, right? But the Google tells you there's 100 million downloads of it. So it seems to be that it's not a small app. It's not like an unimportant app. A lot of people do use it around the world. Whatever. The point is, so for some time, my wife was saying to me, like, you need to get rid of this WhatsApp. And I'm like, I don't really want to get rid of the WhatsApp. She goes, well, I'd like you to get rid of the WhatsApp. I don't really want to get rid of the WhatsApp. And there was this conversation back and forth until at one point or another, like, I think wives don't realize that if they don't add the drama to it, then we don't really get it. It'd be really nice if we got rid of it. I'm sure it'd be nice if we got rid of it, but like, it's not something I want to do. No, but it'd be really nice. Don't you realize what I'm trying to say? I'm like, okay, fine. I get it. Okay. Why didn't you say that? Why didn't you say so from the beginning? Now, she didn't say it like that, but basically, It's like, if you had said that from the start, you're like, no, I was trying to do without the drama. Understand, this is how we talk, Without the drama, we still mean all the drama without the drama. I'm like, okay, right? I'll remember for next time, maybe. Yeah? In the meantime, so I made the decision. I was like back and forth. Should I, shouldn't I? Then, I found out about this other app and I'm like, forget it. Get rid of it. It's not worth the argument. It's not worth the fight. So,
What's the reason?
Pardon?
What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with it? Mostly that it takes up a tremendous amount of your time. It really takes up a lot of my time. And my wife said to me, get rid of it. I said to my wife, I don't understand. I have emails on my phone. I got text messages on my phone. The same people that will WhatsApp me will text message me. The same people that want to send me a video clip via WhatsApp can add it to an email. Somebody sent me one just yesterday, added an email. But then when you get rid of it, you realize for some reason, people are like, SMS. Who sends text messages? I don't even know if I have text messages part of my bundle. I think at one point or another, I'm sure the phone companies are going to start taking it out of their bundles, no? Because there's no point even for them. The truth is they include them because it's free. It sounds good. Simon, you can have 10,000 text messages. How many do you use? 3. If you use 3, they could offer you 50,000 for the same price also. It doesn't really make a difference. That's why some phone providers, they tack on all these minutes. Like my phone deal is 5,000 minutes and 5,000 texts. I don't know anybody who uses 5,000 minutes on the phone. But you say 5,000 minutes, it sounds like, wow, look how much I got. Yeah, how much you use? 200. Same price, you could get a contract for 300 minutes. You still wouldn't go over. Just sounds good to have 5,000 minutes. Happens to be cheap, but but you're right. But it keeps you very, very busy. It ties you down. Funnily enough, so I got rid of it, and there's so much less stuff coming through, it's unreal. It's unbelievable to look at the difference. I can still, and that's the one thing that was holding me back is that I felt I couldn't really have there were a few family members I really wanted to be able to get in touch with. And I said to my wife, I said, every text message abroad is 30p. I'm not having this kind of conversation with my brother. She says, well, why don't you call him? I said, he's a workaholic. I never get through to him, right? I can't call him. He doesn't, it just doesn't work. But I can send him messages and he replies back very, very quickly on the message. So, okay, great. So I got this app that does the job for me. And it's sort of, pardon? It has filtered a lot of clutter out of my life. It really has decluttered things. Now, it was interesting because when I sent out a message, so my wife said to me, I told her yes, and then it took like a week to get it going. And she was like, kept on saying to me, why is it taking so long? You promised me you get rid of it. Why is it taking so long? I said, look, I've just not had the time. What I want to do is I need to send messages out to all the people that contact me frequently on WhatsApp to say, guys or ladies, I'm getting rid of this app. I'm not going to be using it anymore. If you want to get in touch with me, please send me a message. I've just not had the time. Then Motzei Shabbos, I sat down. I went through my contacts. I sent out to whomever I needed to send out to. Guys, I'm getting rid of this. And I got rid of it. Yeah. And it worked. Finished. And anybody who wants to get in touch with me, sends me a text message. And anybody who needs to send me like a picture or something else, sends me an email. Is it a little bit less convenient for everybody? Maybe. Yeah. Well, you're nodding. He's like, yeah, I don't know when to go to shul. He's like, it is, yeah. It might be a little bit less convenient for people, but I've done it and I've done it, and let's go.
Did you do it once before?
I did do it once before. There's a long story that I can't go into to why I had to come back onto WhatsApp, but there was an issue in the family that I need to sort out, that I need to deal with, and I said to my wife I needed it, and she understood, and we got it back, and that was last year Pesach time. But then she says, okay, when you sort the issue, you come away, and then somehow like it just kept going, and then she said, look, the issue is sorted. I'm like, right. She said, okay, so get rid of it. Yeah, that's when the whole... So once the issue was sorted. So then I said, okay, I'll go back to where it was. I think at the time it was 3 months that I didn't have it. I probably got rid of it like in January and got it back in April or something, whatever it is. But the main point is when I sent out the messages, I sent out the message to a lot of people saying, guys, I'm getting rid of WhatsApp. This is what it is. You want to get in touch with me, this is how you get in touch with me. And I got back different responses. 1 or 2 responses I got back were like, you're an idiot. Yeah. 1 or 2 people sent back, wow, you're brave. And 1 or 2 people sent back a response saying like, wow, I wish I could do the same. Yeah. And I found it a very interesting sentiment how people said, wow, I wish I could do the same. It's like, well, why not? Yeah. Why not? It's not, do you mean it was part of everything that I did also, I needed it for my work also. You say, you know how many WhatsApp groups I was on between, like, the 80th anniversary and between the youth groups and the event group of the shops and this one and that one. There's so many different things that I was on. It's not like I wasn't using it. But with all that, somehow comes all the clutter that comes with it. Yeah, go on.
In essence, obviously with WhatsApp, it's quite an instantaneous thing, and you have the groups, and it's
Yeah.
good to be part of groups. But when you're speaking to people individually on WhatsApp,
Yes,
surely texting is exactly the same.
it is exactly the same. Some reason, people don't send text messages.
It just has that sort
Because you
of.
just-
I've got people don't have text conversations anymore. But you're right, and I said that to my wife because especially with Android phones or with
messages, things that are
iMessage, Android, or a BBM, the same. It would all do the same thing.
Yeah.
Facebook Messenger. I mean, they all do exactly the same thing. So it's not. There's not much.
What's that? Because I have a lot of
People can
conversations.
see the tick.
I have a lot of conversations.
People can see it.
Okay, without the text.
That's not the only thing. No, it's not in the ticks. I just don't. I explain that I don't know what it is.
I feel the same.
I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you now, very few people send me text messages.
I think a text is more formal. We were all brought up when text first came out, and
Right.
you were charged for each one.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's almost a psychological thing.
You think so?
I think so.
Could be. No, but I'm saying, yes, you're right. I mean, with 5,000 text messages, I could text with you like the way I could WhatsApp with you. Same
Well,
thing.
yeah, because I've just checked then, just because, like you said, I don't really ever text, so I wasn't even sure you could do it. But you can actually create. You can actually create a group. So you can actually create a group exactly like.
I think
Not the same. Not with SMS. With iMessage, you might be able to do that, but not with SMS. I don't think you can create an SMS group where it's going to send back to everybody at the same time.
I'll be quiet then.
No. What you can do is you can send group messages. You can send group messages so you can have distribution lists. So that if I want to send a message, I can send to 20 people in one go. I just push the distribution list. But they won't all get the entire conversation. What's great about a WhatsApp group is that we can have a conversation going amongst all of us. And especially for creating events, Simon and I and Richard and we've worked and Michael, we've worked on these events before, and it's been really, really useful to have these groups because it means we could actually have a virtual meeting without all having to find a time that fits with everybody and finding babysitters and then leaving our wives, etc., etc. So I'm not saying it's useless. That's not what I'm saying. But for whatever reason, it was cluttering and it decluttered and it was great. And it was that idea of maybe I wish I could do it. And that idea of change. And now I want to speak about really as far as Pesach is concerned. Pesach is a time where we as the Jewish people experienced a massive change, right? We were enslaved. Now we're free. But we weren't only enslaved physically, we were enslaved mentally as well. So that means, the pressure was tremendous. It's an interesting thing. I'll tell you a story that happened 75 years ago, but for the same thing you'll understand in Egypt as well. Somebody once spoke to a survivor and he says, I once looked into it and there were very few policemen or SS men in any concentration camp. There were very few of them. And so if thousands of inmates decided to rebel against the 10 guys that had machine guns, you'd have easily overpowered them. Why didn't you guys rebel? What's with you? Why didn't you just say, I'm not having this anymore? Right? A good question. So the guy said back to him, he says, if you can ask that question, and you can only ask that question because you don't understand the psychological terror that the Germans inflicted upon us. We in the concentration camps were so afraid, nobody had the will and nobody had the audacity to ever think, you know what, let's rebel. It just didn't happen. So that even though they had very, very few people in proportion to the amount of inmates that they had, and the inmates probably could have overpowered them, somehow it never happened. And it's the same with Egypt. There was a very strong psychological hold that they had on them, where they felt, I'm not, I can't do this. I can't get out. There's no way I can get out of here. Yeah? Not only that, they made the work so hard. Paro says when Moshe Rabbeinu comes the first time to Paro and he says to him, let the Jewish people go. And he says, do you know why the Jewish people think they can go out? Because they think, because they have too much time. And therefore, because they have too much time, Tichbat avod aleim. Let the work get harder. If I get them very, very, very busy, if I make sure they don't have any time to think whatsoever, then there's no time to think of freedom. You just work them, and then when they're finished, they just lie down in the bed and they collapse and they conk out. There's no time to sit and to thought, one day when we leave, I don't know. I've never asked a survivor that kind of question. I wonder if survivors, sat together in the bunkers and had these conversations. What are you going to do when you come out of Auschwitz? I don't know if they ever dreamed. What do you mean, come out of Auschwitz? When are we ever going to come out? What chance do we stand to ever make it out of this hell? I don't know if people even thought that way. And that's what the Egyptians did. They created this hold on the Jewish people where they felt there was no other way. I'm stuck. And then God came and took them out. And that was an amazing thing because he suddenly showed them, you're not stuck. I can take you out. And it's very important. It's something that we mentioned in the Haggadah as well. Somebody heard the shir that I gave. I sent it out last week, but there was a shir that I gave and I spoke about. There's a one of the things in the Haggadah that we say is maschil b'gnut u'masayim b'shvach, that we start with the negative and we move on to the positive. What's the negative? So the negative, either that we were slaves or that our forefathers were idol worshippers. And Rav Dessler writes, he says, there's an amazing thing to consider when you think about Avraham Avinu, right? Imagine you lived in Avraham Avinu's times. And Avraham Avinu, everybody in those days, but everybody was a polytheist. And everybody believed in idols. I mean, who didn't believe in idols, right? And there's this one lone kid that shows up and says, guys, this is all rubbish. This is all wrong. There's only one God. It's not the sun, it's not the moon, it's not Nimrod, it's not Paro, it's not any of them. There's just one God, and he's omniscient, and he's all-powerful, etc. All the things that you're going to say about God. Wait, how could that be? Everybody knows that there's all these gods, and we have there's only... And Avram was on one side, and the entire world was on the other side. Have you ever had opposition to an idea that you had? You come up with an idea. There's certain people that they know how to they deflate everything. They know how to get the air out of everything that you try to do. Remember it's actually interesting. Do you know Yiddish salads? You know the Yiddish salads? So Yiddi is married to my wife's first cousin. And when Yiddi was a young man, he came to my mother-in-law and he said to my mother-in-law, he says, I have an idea. And she said, what's your idea? He says, I think I'm going to make little salads in little tubs and I'm going to sell them in shops. And my mother's like, well, you think people are going to pay £2 for you to mash egg for them? They'll make, for £2, you can make 2 dozen eggs. I mean, who's going to pay you £2 for your putting mayonnaise and egg and mashing it? And he always says, thank God I never listened to your mother-in-law. I don't, that's his, whatever. But it's a separate discussion about listening to my mother-in-law or not. But that's not for Facebook. That's not the point. But the point is that, in that instance, she said to him, no, don't do it. And, he just decided to go with it anyway. But it was hard. Because here's somebody who had more life experience than him saying to him, well, you think I'm going to buy that stuff? And you think other people are going to buy it? And with almost any business and with a lot of things, it takes a bit of courage. And you always have naysayers. That's not going to work, etc., etc. The guys who created UPS, they went to Harvard Business School. No, not UPS, FedEx. There was FedEx. Either FedEx or UPS is a famous one. They went to Harvard Business School, and they created this model called FedEx or UPS. Can't remember which one of the two it was, right? And they, after creating this model, they wrote a business plan, and their final thing in Harvard Business School was that they had to hand in a business plan. So they handed in their business plan, and they got a C. And the professor wrote on it, nice idea, probably will never work. Good thing they didn't listen. Today they're billionaires, and the guy's still teaching in Harvard, not making anything, right? Yep.
Amazon.
Who told Amazon? Who told Jeff Bezos it wouldn't work?
There was loads. He was working out of a tiny office.
Yeah.
And there were loads of people all discounting him. He was looking for, I think.
He's probably looking for a probably small amount of money. Yeah. What's good? You got to people said, I need $50,000 to start up this thing. He is the richest. He is the richest man in the world with over 100 billion.
Steve Jobs and Apple.
Yeah.
Also, the same thing. Everyone will say it won't work. It won't happen. It won't work.
It won't work. It won't happen. Yes.
Tesla.
Yeah.
Another one. Tesla, the cars nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, they're up and coming, and okay, yeah, they're expensive to buy, but
No, but the electric cars, they got these electric cars, yeah.
They're very sought after nowadays.
Yeah.
But again, Tesla also were really struggling when they first.
Look, a lot of people struggled when they started, and it takes that determination to say, yes, there's a struggle, but I can make it through that struggle. Avram Avinu didn't have to struggle against one or two, professors at Harvard saying this is not going to work. Avram Avinu had to struggle through the entire world saying to him, you are crazy, this is never going to work. And Avram Avinu saying, I'm doing this anyway. I believe in God. So much so he's willing to be thrown into the furnace. That's how much I believe in God. And then we speak about Masle Begenusa Messiah Mishmach, when we speak about Avram Avinu at the Seder, and we speak about the fact we used to be idol worshippers and we get out, one of the things we need to teach our children is the fact that we as Jewish people have a tremendous resilience. We're very, very stubborn people, right? Anybody know anybody more stubborn? I mean, Jews are just, we can be very, very difficult. We can be, right? And everybody knows we can be very difficult. It's not always easy, but it's that stubbornness that has, that's kept us. Many times when we've had fights, that's when the stubbornness comes out. When people are nice to us, we're not half as stubborn. That's the interesting thing. So, for example, in the concentration camps, even Jews that were not as religious would be willing to give up their lives. But you want to make me eat treif? I'm not eating treif. You're trying to kill me? I'm not eating treif. So, but you're not religious. It doesn't matter. Kill me. And they did. Take the same guy and say, here, it's Christine. She wants to marry you. She'll make you a nice pork supper. No problem. Somehow the whole thing goes out the window but when we're faced with that animosity, when we're faced with that adversity, somehow we as Jewish people, that trait comes out in us that pushes us, that says, no, I'm not going to be pushed over. Yeah? So the Hasidim are told, you need to wear these skunks or these funny hats on your head, these fur hats. That was what they did. They wanted to make the Jews look stupid, so they made them wear stupid hats. So what a Hasidim do is says, do you know what I'm going to do? Now it's going to become my Shabbos hat. You're all going to be in the grave for 300 years. We'll still be walking around in 100-degree weather with these stupid fur hats. Right? Because nobody tells me what to wear. That's how it goes. We have a very, very different way of doing things. We do have this inside us. And sometimes it's a real problem. You meet certain people that are so stubborn and it's just an issue. But it's also a trait that can be used in our favor. You can be stubborn to say to the rest of the world, I don't care. If I think it's right, if I want to make a change, and I think this is an important change in my life, whatever that change is, and let you yourself choose that change. I'm giving the example we got from the WhatsApp because that's something that worked in my life recently, right? But it doesn't have to be, it might not work in your life, and that's fine. I'm not telling you have to. I'm not getting up here and saying to everybody on Facebook or everybody sitting here that you have to, you have to get rid of your WhatsApp. That's not what this year is about. Really not. If anybody walks home, comes home and says, Rabbi said everybody's got to get rid of WhatsApp. I didn't say that, right? But everybody will have their struggles in their life. And when people say, look, I wish I could, you can do anything you set your mind to. You can decide to do certain things. And when other people mock you for it, you can either falter or you can say, this is Pesach. I'm a great, great, great grandchild of Avram Avinu. What would Avram Avinu been if he faltered? What would we be today if Avram Avinu had faltered on that? If he had said, you're making fun of me? You're right. I'll believe in idols now. Huh. End of the whole religion. End of everything. No Judaism, no purpose, and no nothing. Thank God he didn't. Thank God he said, no. I'm not faltering. This is what we do. This is what I believe in. And if the whole world makes fun of me, it doesn't matter. I am still going to push ahead with it. I'm going to press ahead. I can't give up on this. It's too important. And whatever it is that you want to do in your life, whatever it is that you want to change in your life, if it's important enough to you, you'll be willing to face the rap for it. You'll be willing to go ahead and swim against the current. Just do it. Right? That's what we can do. So what's getting in your way? I don't know. Is it working too much? Maybe people are like, I'm working, they work here, they work there. Somebody said to me recently, he's trying to build himself up. I said, okay. So he's got one job, and then at night he works again, and he goes to sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, that's not very healthy for a relationship. And he's like, no, but I'm trying to build myself up. I'm like, what for? I said, you have a choice. You can build up your relationship with your wife, or you can build up your bank account. If you have a little bit less in your bank account, so it's not like he's not making any money. Do you know what I mean? He's doing okay. But you only have one chance at life to have a good relationship with your wife. And if you're not going to take that chance now, well, when are you going to take that chance? You go to sleep every night at 2 o'clock. But your wife has to go to sleep every night by herself? No, well, sometimes we have date night once a week. It doesn't change it. It's good. I'm not against date night. I'm all for date night. I don't happen to do date night because I come home for lunch every single day and have lunch with my wife. You know, every single day and have peace and quiet with my wife. So I don't need to do date night because we get our meal that way. You know? And to go out at night would be stressful for her, would be stressful for me. It's easier to come home for lunch and just be home for lunch. You know what I mean? But I'm not against date night. I think it's a great thing. You know, if you can have date night once a week, once every 2 weeks, whatever it is, just to go out with your wife and have peace and quiet, it's brilliant. But if you have date night one night a week and every other night of the week, you're going to go, and you're going to, sorry, I'm laughing because David Mintz said, nice haircut. David, there's nothing left. There's nothing left here. You know? It's true. But, you know, if you're going to spend every night up till 2 o'clock in the morning and then one night you say, but I have date night one night a week. Come on. You're not going to build a relationship like that. You come home late from, you know, it says, yeah, but in 10 years from now, I'll make it to partner. I mean, in this case, it's not, he doesn't work in that kind of field, but it doesn't make a difference. Some people say, 10 years from now, I'll make it to partner. 10 years from now, I'll get that great promotion that I need, and then I'll really be making a lot of money, and then I won't have to work as hard. You missed 10 years of your wife and your kid's life, and you'll never get that back. You just never will. So it might be that kind of, you know, what's holding you back? Say, no, but okay. If it's really, really important to you, maybe you just make the decision to do it anyway. But if you thought about it, you said to yourself, does it really make sense? Maybe it doesn't make sense to be throwing that much into work. So you say, but everybody else, I'm surrounded by an industry. He's good, David says, but what they were able to cut, they cut well. David, I love you too, right? You're surrounded in an industry, you know, like my brother, he works in New York. New York is like, it's a pressure cooker. I remember he said he worked in Barclays Bank in New York for a summer job. And he was there every morning at 6 and he left only 10 o'clock every night. He was there every single day, 16 hours. And he said to me, we were all working like dogs because we were all hoping at the end of that summer job, one of us or two of us were going to get a little letter saying, dear Mr. So-and-so, dear Mrs. So-and-so, we'd like to offer you a job when you finish university. So he had 1 more year. It was his final year in university, and they were hoping to get that job in university. So everybody was working their kishkas out. Everybody, can you imagine 16-hour work days? Yeah? Is that where you work? Where you're nodding?
When I was cooking, when I used to be a chef.
Yes.
That's where we used to wake up at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
And you go to sleep at?
12, 1.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's for being a chef. I mean, like, you know, but you weren't even the main chef there. You were only like
Sous
further.
chef, yeah, sous chef.
Pardon?
Sous chef.
That's what I'm saying. That wasn't, you know.
That's probably why I had to get up so early.
Because the main chefs, they were sleeping in. They came down, they're like, you know, not good, do that again. You know, and they just come down, that's what they do. And they say, yeah, but I started like you. Yeah. Those guys probably say the same thing. I started off like you. I also had to work 6 days a week, 18 hours a day. And now I'm the main chef at the Savoy. Okay, maybe. But you're going to pay a price for it. In all these cases, you're going to pay a price. And you have to decide, well, but that's what everybody does. Especially as my brother's saying, like in New York, that seems to be the way everybody does things. It's so pressurized. And if I'm not going to come at 6 o'clock in the morning and leave at 10 o'clock at night, then I'll look like the slacking worker. Really? But you put in 15 or 14 hours a day, and then you're going to look and you're going to go, you call that a work day? Yeah, I call that a work day. I think 14 hours is enough. Don't you? But you gotta, no, so you won't get the biggest promotion. Fine, but you'll have a life. He says, no, but the whole industry is pushing you, and you're getting pressurized from all sides, and therefore you just don't get it right. Or relationships. You know, sometimes you want to say, I want to change the way things are in my relationships. So why don't you? Yeah? People get into arguments, get into machlokes or whatever it is. You know, I think most of us are young enough, Baruch Hashem, that I think it's machlokes starts sort of when you reach like 50, 60. That's when people start getting into it. Everybody starts digging their heels in. I don't know that many people of age 24 that have people they've fallen out with and they don't speak to. Yeah? Do you guys know anybody your age group that's fallen out with someone else? Literally don't speak?
You spoke about this, that the older you get, the more stubborn you are.
Yeah, people get very stubborn.
You said a few years ago, so,
Yeah. It's not an age group, but you know, I can see as people get older, they just dig their heels in much harder. And then I'll say this and you'll say that, but I said this and you said that, and I'm not sure why. It sparks. And it's terrible. You know, and these things, they don't go away. They don't go, even death sometimes doesn't take them away. You know, and it's very, very sad to see people that didn't get on in their lifetime, and even after 120, there's a discussion whether this family member will come or won't come to the Levaya of his family member. Come on. He died. How long are you going to hold on to this stupid argument for? You're going to take it to your death, to your deathbed, and into your grave. Oh, wonderful. How great. Yeah? No, I can change. Yes, you can. It's a question of wanting to. It's a question of also having the stamina and having low battery, 5%. Okay, we're going to have to finish this. It's a question of having the stamina and being able to turn around to the rest of the world and saying, this is what I plan to do. I know that it might not be what everybody else thinks is the way to do it. But I've decided for me that this is the right thing to do. I can't say to hell with everybody else. That's not the way to work, you know. But if you think and you believe it's right, then even if other people say, I don't believe it's the right thing to do, I don't believe you can manage this, try it. Yeah? Maybe you won't be able to manage it. Maybe not. Maybe someone will come up, I'll have to take out the WhatsApp. I have to get the WhatsApp back. Maybe. But I tried it. You know, my wife wanted to. I said to myself, what's more important to me? With everything, with all the pressures, everyone's like, you're getting rid of it? Were you stupid? Why are you getting rid of it? And what difference does it make? I think to yourself, wait. Whoa. What's more important to you? A program on my phone or a healthy relationship with my wife? I think everybody will agree, especially if your wife has said to you, like, in very uncertain and no uncertain terms, like, you got to get rid of this for me. So then, it's not like, sometimes it's like, maybe I should get rid of it because it might be good for us. But here, I've gotten this, I've been asked specifically to get rid of it. What am I going to say? No. I think a computer program is more important than you. Are you really going to take that line? That's a very hard line to take. So it was easy. It makes the decision a lot easier, right? And again, as I said, try it. And my wife said to me, she said, you know what? Try it for a month. Try it till after Pesach. If it really, really doesn't work for you, if it stunts your entire work ability, I'll give in. If you come back to me and say, I can't work without it, fine, you can't work without it, that's fine. It is possible in certain jobs, you can't work without it. I know people that said to me, I had a friend of mine who said he arranged a dinner. He said the entire dinner was arranged over WhatsApp. They arranged a very, very big dinner, charity dinner over WhatsApp. He said, we just didn't have the time to meet, but everything went over WhatsApp. Okay, you need it. I'm not saying it doesn't have its uses.
Well, I take it the Rebbitzin doesn't have WhatsApp.
The Rebbitzin doesn't have a smartphone. Rebbitzin has a phone that at the moment has only text messages, and that's all she has.
That you know about.
I pay the bills, I know. So, and I know I don't log into online banking, so I can tell if she's paying it because I've set that up as well. No, but the truth is, for some people it will work, for some people it won't work, right? I'm not saying somebody's here. Somebody just knock. No.
It's probably David Folks, so he's a bit late.
He's here. Is there pizza left? I heard the shit's finished. Was there pizza?
Didn't want to share. I just wanted to think.
But that's the point. Is that try it, yeah. Whether it's relationships, whether it's whatever it is, there's no reason. If you can manage, fine. But if just because other people are trying to tell you not to do something, if you believe in your heart of hearts that it's really the right thing to do, then Pesach is the time to realize that is the strength of the Jewish people. And that is what to us, we came away from this bondage to freedom to say to ourselves, we are not in this mode anymore where everybody can oppress us and where we cannot do what we think is right. We will now do what we think is right. And if it doesn't work, we can always go back. But if it works, great. That freedom is a tremendous freedom. It's the freedom of Pesach. The freedom of Pesach is to realize and to understand, I make my own decisions. I don't let the rest of the world dictate to me what is right and what is wrong, what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. And again, as I said, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You try it. But at least the freedom of Pesach should be strong enough that you have the ability to make the change. You can make the change, and if you want to, you really will make the change. Right? Thank you very much. Thank you for all who joined us. And again, you missed out on great pizza. Thanks, Simon.